Chapter 7. Moving Beyond the Pain. We are far more than our bodies and personalities. The inner spirit is always beautiful and lovable, no matter how our outer appearances may change. The pain of death. It's wonderful to be positive. It's also wonderful to acknowledge what you are feeling. Nature has given you feelings to get you through certain experiences, and to deny them causes more pain. Remember, death is not a failure. Everyone dies. It's part of the process of life. When someone you love dies, the mourning process takes at least a year. So give yourself that space. It's difficult to have to go through all the holidays and seasons, Valentine's Day, your birthday, your anniversary, Christmas, etc. So be very gentle with yourself and let yourself grieve. There are no rules, so don't make any for yourself. It's also okay to get angry and have hysterics when someone dies. You can't pretend it doesn't hurt. You want to give your feelings an outlet. Let yourself cry. Look in the mirror and scream, "It isn't fair," or whatever you feel inside. Again, let it out. Otherwise, you will create problems for your body. You want to take care of yourself the best you can, and I know it's not always easy. Those of us who have been working with people with AIDS find that the grieving process becomes ongoing. It's the same as the grieving process in wartime. There are too many onslaughts to the emotional nervous system to handle. Many times I reach out to special friends and dissolve into hysterics when it all becomes too much. It was much easier when my mother died. I felt the natural completion of her 91-year cycle. Though I grieved, I had no anger or rage at injustice or untimeliness. Wars and epidemics bring up tremendous frustration at the seeming unfairness of it all. Although grieving takes time, sometimes you feel like you're in a bottomless pit. If you are still grieving after a few years, then you are wallowing in it. It becomes an addiction. You need to forgive and release the other person and yourself. Remember, we don't lose anyone when they die because we never owned them in the first place. If you are having a difficult time letting go, there are several things you can do. First of all, I suggest you do some meditations with the person who is gone. No matter what he or she thought or did while they were alive, when they leave the planet, a veil lifts and they see life very clearly. So they no longer have the fears and the limiting beliefs that they had when they were here. If you are grieving a lot, they would probably tell you not to worry because all is well. In your meditations, ask the person for help to get you through this period and tell them that you love them. Don't judge yourself for not being with the person or doing enough for the person while they were alive. That's just adding guilt to your grief. Some of you use this time as an excuse for not getting on with your own life. Some of you would like to leave the planet too. Or, for some of you, the death of someone you know and love brings up your own fear of death. Use this time to do inner work on yourself so you can release some of your own stuff. A lot of sadness comes to the surface upon the death of a loved one. Let yourself feel the sadness. You need to get to a point where you feel safe enough to let the old pains come up. If you would allow yourself 2 or 3 days of crying, much of the sadness and guilt would disappear. If you need to, find a therapist or a group to help you feel safe enough so that you can release the emotions. Another suggestion is to say affirmations like, "I love you and I set you free. You are free and I am free." One woman was having a very difficult time letting go of the anger she felt towards an aunt who was very ill. She was terrified that her aunt would pass away and she would not be able to communicate how she really felt about the past. She didn't want to speak with the aunt because she felt all choked up inside. I suggested to her that she work with a therapist, for one-on-one work can be so helpful. When we are stuck in any area, it is an act of love for ourselves to reach out for help. There are many types of therapists all over who are experienced in these situations. You don't need to go for a long time, just a short while, so that you can get through your difficult period. There are also many grief support groups. It might be helpful for you to join one because it would assist you as you go through the process. Understanding our pain. Many of us live from day to day with unrelieved pain. It may be a small part of our lives, or it may take up a large, unbearable portion of it. But what is pain? Most of us agree that it is something we would like to be free of. Let's look at what we can learn from it. Where does it come from? What is it trying to tell us? The dictionary defines pain as an unpleasant or distressing sensation due to bodily injury or disorder, as well as a mental or emotional suffering or torment. Since pain is an outgrowth of both mental and physical dis-ease, it is clear that both the mind and the body are susceptible to it. I recently saw a wonderful example as I watched two little girls playing in a park. The first child raised her hand to playfully slap her friend on the arm. Before she was able to connect, the other little girl said, "Ow!" And the first little girl looked at her and said, "Why did you say ow? I haven't even touched you yet." To which her friend quickly replied, "Well, I knew it was going to hurt." In this instant, the mental pain presumed the expected physical pain. Pain comes to us in many forms: a scratch, a bump, a bruise, dis-ease, uneasy sleep, a threat, a knotty feeling in your stomach, a numbing sensation in your arm or leg. Sometimes it hurts a lot, sometimes only a little, but we know it's there. In most cases, it's trying to tell us something. At times, the message is obvious. A sour stomach experienced during the work week, but not on the weekend, may indicate a need for an attitude change or for a job change. And many of us know the significance of the pain that occurs after a night of excessive drinking. Whatever the message, we must remember that the human body is a wonderfully constructed piece of machinery. It tells us if there are problems, but only if we are willing to listen. Unfortunately, many of us do not take or make the time to listen. Pain is actually one of the body's last resort messages, to tell us that something is wrong in our lives. We are really off track somewhere. The body is always aspiring for optimum health, no matter what we do to it. However, if we abuse our bodies tremendously, we contribute to the conditions of our dis-ease. When we first feel pain, what do? We usually run to the medicine cabinet or to the drugstore, and we take a pill. In effect, we say to the body, "Shut up, I don't want to hear you." The body will quiet down for a little bit. Then the whisperings return, and this time a little louder. Maybe we go to the doctor for an injection or a prescription, or we do something else. But at some point we have to pay attention to what is going on, because we may have a full-blown dis-ease of some sort. Even at that point, some people still want to play victim and still don't listen. Others awaken to what's going on and are willing to make changes. It's okay. We all learn in different ways. The answers may be as simple as getting a good night's sleep, or not going out 7 nights a week, or not pushing yourself at work. Allow yourself to listen to your body because it does want to get well. Your body wants to be healthy, and you can cooperate with it. When I first feel pain or discomfort, I quiet myself. I trust that my higher power will let me know what needs to be changed in my life so that I can be free from this dis-ease. In these quiet times, I visualize the most perfect natural setting with my favorite flowers growing in abundance all around me. I can feel and smell the sweet warm air as it blows gently across my face, and I concentrate on relaxing every muscle in my body. When I feel that I have reached a state of complete relaxation, I simply ask my inner wisdom, how am I contributing to this problem? What is it that I need to know? What areas of my life are in need of change? Then I breathe and let the answers pour over me. The answers may not come at that moment, but I know that they will be revealed to me soon. I know that whatever changes are needed are the right ones for me, and that I will be completely safe no matter what unfolds before me. Sometimes you wonder how you can accomplish such changes. How will I live? What about the children? How will I pay my bills? Again, trust your higher power to show you the means to live a plentiful, pain-free life. I also suggest that you make changes one step at a time. Louise said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." One small step added to another can create significant major advancements. Once you go about making your changes, please remember that the pain does not necessarily disappear overnight, and yet it may. It has taken time for pain to surface. Therefore, it may take some time to recognize that it is no longer needed. Be gentle with yourself. Don't gauge your progress by someone else's. You are unique and have your own way of handling your life. Put your trust in your higher self in order to free yourself of all physical and emotional pain. Forgiveness is the key to freedom. I often ask clients, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? We all have opinions on who was right and who was wrong according to our own perceptions, and we can all find ways to justify our feelings. We want to punish others for what they did to us. However, we are the ones running the story over and over in our own minds. It is foolish for us to punish ourselves in the present because someone hurt us in the past. To release the past, we want to be willing to forgive, even if we don't know how. Forgiveness means giving up our hurtful feelings and just letting the whole thing go. A state of non-forgiveness actually destroys something within ourselves. No matter what avenue of spirituality you follow, you will usually find that forgiveness is an enormous issue at any time, but most particularly when there is an illness. When we are ill, we really need to look around and see who it is we need to forgive. And usually the very person who we think we will never forgive is the one we need to forgive the most. Not forgiving someone else doesn't harm the other person in the slightest, but it plays havoc with us. The issues aren't theirs, the issues are ours. The grudges and hurts you feel have to do with forgiving yourself, not someone else. Affirm that you are totally willing to forgive everyone. I am willing to free myself from the past. I am willing to forgive all those who may ever have harmed me, and I forgive myself for having harmed others. If you think of anyone who may have harmed you in any way at any point in your life, bless that person with love and release them, and then dismiss the thought. I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't forgiven the people who have hurt me. I would not want to punish myself today for what they did to me in the past. I'm not saying that it would be easy. It's just that now I can look back at that stuff and say, oh yes, that's something that happened. However, I don't live there anymore, and it is not the same as condoning their behavior. If you feel ripped off by another, know that nobody can take anything from you that is rightfully yours. If it belongs to you, it will return to you at the right time. If something doesn't come back to you, it wasn't meant to. You need to accept that and go on with your life. To become free, you need to get out of your self-righteous resentment and off your pity pot. I love this expression, which originated with Alcoholics Anonymous, because it is such a wonderful, accurate description. When you are sitting on your pity pot, you are this helpless person who has no power at all. In order to have power, you want to stand on your own 2 feet and take responsibility. Take a moment and close your eyes, if you can, and imagine a beautiful stream of water in front of you. Take the old painful experience, the hurt, and the unforgiveness, and put the whole incident in the stream. See it begin to dissolve and drift downstream until it totally dissipates and disappears. You can do this as often as you want. This is a time for compassion and healing. Go within and connect with that part of yourself that knows how to heal. You are incredibly capable. Be willing to go to new levels to find capabilities of which you were not aware, not just to cure dis-ease, but to truly heal yourself on all possible levels. To make yourself whole in the deepest sense of the word, to accept every part of yourself and every experience you have ever had, and to know that it is all part of the tapestry of your life this time around. I love Emmanuel's book. There is a passage in it which has a good message. The question to Emmanuel is, how do we experience painful circumstances without becoming embittered by them? And Emmanuel's reply is, by seeing them as lessons and not as retribution. Trust life, my friends. However far afield life seems to take you, this trip is necessary. You have come to traverse a wide terrain of experience in order to verify where truth lies and where your distortion is in that terrain. You will then be able to return to your home center, your soul self, refreshed and wiser. If only we could understand that all of our so-called problems are just opportunities for us to grow and to change, and that most of them come from the vibrations that we have been giving off. All we really need to do is change the way we think, be willing to dissolve the resentment, and be willing to forgive.